Welcome to another episode here on Warfront Pulse. On April 19th, about a week after maritime restrictions were imposed by Washington, the naval blockade against Iran moved from theory to real-world enforcement. In the northern Arabian Sea, the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, USS Spruance, intercepted the Iranian cargo vessel MV Tusk, also identified as Sahand, which was heading toward the strategic port of Bandar Abbas. After approximately 6 hours of communication and ignored warnings, the U.S. vessel initiated a controlled escalation procedure. First, formal orders to alter course, then a direct instruction to evacuate the engine room. When those were refused, the Spruance used its Mark 45 127mm naval gun to carry out disabling fire targeting the ship's propulsion system. With the vessel immobilized, MH-60S Seahawk helicopters, launched from the amphibious assault ship USS Tripoli, carried a team from the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit. They executed a fast rope insertion, boarded the vessel, and took control. Consider following our page and stay up to date on U.S. and global military developments. What happened with the MV Tusk follows a well-established U.S. Navy protocol known as VBSS, Visit, Board, Search, and Seizure. This procedure, developed in the 1980s, is used by the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard to intercept vessels in scenarios ranging from counter-trafficking to naval warfare. The first phase is intelligence and tracking. No boarding happens randomly. Integrated systems combine data from satellites, maritime patrol aircraft like the P-8 Poseidon, early warning platforms like the E-3 Sentry, drones, and AIS tracking. All of this builds a detailed picture of maritime traffic. That's how the MV Tusk was identified, a vessel already linked to U.S. Treasury sanctions. The second phase is approach and challenge. The warship establishes radio contact, issues formal warnings, and attempts to gain crew cooperation. In many cases, the operation ends here with voluntary inspection or redirection. When there is refusal, the third phase begins, disabling. In the case of the Spruance, this meant using the Mark 45 gun, designed to deliver precision fire capable of neutralizing critical systems without sinking the vessel. The fourth phase is boarding. This can be cooperative or opposed. In the MV Tusk case, it was an opposed boarding with aerial insertion. Marine teams descend by rope directly onto the deck, securing initial control. This type of operation requires intensive training. VBSS teams typically undergo around 8 weeks of preparation, focused on close quarters combat, boarding techniques, search procedures, and threat neutralization. Despite controlled execution, these operations carry significant risks. A civilian cargo ship can conceal disguised combatants, traps, or improvised explosives, and the boarding itself is highly complex. Descending from a helicopter onto a moving deck in wind and open sea conditions is among the most challenging tasks in naval operations. But this incident raises a broader question. Can a naval blockade like this be sustained against Iran? Currently, U.S. Central Command has positioned around 27 warships in the region, roughly 40% of its active deployed naval force. This includes 3 carrier strike groups, destroyers, amphibious ships, littoral vessels, and unmanned systems. Operationally, this force is capable of intercepting specific targets. But the real challenge is scale. Before the crisis, around 140 ships passed daily through the Strait of Hormuz. Even with traffic reduced to less than 10%, the volume still demands constant presence. Estimates suggest at least 6 destroyers would be needed in continuous rotation just to control a single axis of the strait. That means high fuel consumption, accelerated wear on systems, and constant pressure on crews. In practice, the blockade doesn't need to be absolute to be effective. It operates as a selective network, disrupting enough flow to make maritime insurance unviable, increase logistics costs, and reduce trade. In the first days, at least 25 vessels were forced to turn back. The MV Tusk was the first direct attempt to break through, and the U.S. response was immediate. Now, the legal and strategic questions remain. Under international law, a naval blockade is considered an act of war. It is regulated by criteria outlined in the 1994 San Remo Manual. These include a declared armed conflict, impartial enforcement, and humanitarian access. In this case, there is no formal declaration of war between the United States and Iran, which places the legality of this operation under debate. Meanwhile, the situation continues to evolve. The MV Tusk incident was not just an interception. It was a clear signal that the blockade has entered a new phase, and from this point forward, every new boarding increases the risk of broader escalation in the Persian Gulf. Don't forget to leave your like right here. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new content.